Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for Eve Echoes. Today was a NetEase product reveal stream available for viewing both on Facebook and on YouTube that I didn't even know existed until yesterday, and I feel really let down by that. Not just for Eve Echoes, but because there are actually several other NetEase games that I play and enjoy as well that I would have liked to have known some information about, and I do recommend checking out the stream as there are some very cool games being announced and talked about outside of Eve Echoes. Now, what I thought I would do for this is to basically grab my camera, sit down, watch this stream as it came live, and give my live reactions to it. So that's exactly what I did. I sat there with my phone, I watched it, held it to the side, and I gave my reactions. I had a little thing where I could switch to my camcorder and give reactions to exactly what I was seeing. And I promise you, everything here is essentially as close to accurate as I could get it. If I found myself pulling a stupid face, then I kept that face going until I hit record on the camera side of things. As I said, it's only about 2.5 minutes long, the Eve Echo section, which isn't particularly much, but they've packed a lot of exciting information into that, and there's some really cool exciting stuff I've added to the end of this video as well, sort of related to this. Again, stuff that only cropped up into my personal sphere of knowledge yesterday afternoon, so a lot of exciting new information in this one. I do apologise if there are any technical difficulties going on. I've never tried any particular kind of content like this before, this kind of pseudo-reaction stream. And remember, I am just literally a guy with a phone making everything entirely on this one phone, so I am limited by the materials I have around me. That said, I do hope you enjoy it, and let me know in the comment section down below if you enjoyed it, if you absolutely hated it, if you'd like to see more of this, if you never want to see me do this again, let me know. Otherwise, folks, let's jump straight into this one and talk about the product release stream.
Back to outer space. Sci-fi sandbox MMO Eve Echoes has been delighting galactic voyagers since it came to iOS and Android last year, with updates that have delivered an improved experience too. In June, a major new update is coming. Let's link up with the studio and explore together.
So if I pause that right there, if you have a look on the left-hand side of the screen, just behind where they're talking, you'll see that the graphic that NetEase is using for this update appears to have a Stratios on it. Now, the Stratios is the Sisters of Eve faction cruiser, alongside the Astero, their faction frigate, and the Nestor, their faction battleship. Now, obviously, the Sisters of Eve are heavily based around exploration, so perhaps this could be a subtle hint that, I don't know, the exploration update will come with the Sisters of Eve ships. If that's the case, I'm very excited because I really want to be flying an Astero.
Let's link up with the studio and explore together.
Now that phone background, we've got a Myrmidon, which I think is in the Where Comey skin. It's the one that's in-game. You can actually view it if you go into the Myrmidon stats and fittings page and check out the skins, but there's no way to currently get it, so perhaps they're suggesting here that you might be getting some of these skins via exploration. The ship in the background, I'm not entirely sure what that is. Now it looks like it could be a Raven, a Condor. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Let me know in the comments what you think you see there. Oh, that is a stunning bit of artwork. Imagine walking into your office every morning and seeing that on the wall. I think that's the Indomitable artwork that they used. It's the Corporation Citadel, and then you've got the Raven in the bottom right of that as well. Now, I would kill to work in an office like this. Not that I actually work in an office. This, my bedroom, is my office. But still, that's amazing. Look, NetEase, if you ever fancy sending me out to China to meet you guys and talk with the team and, all this kind of thing, I'm totally up for that, by the way. I live in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's pretty much an annex of China at this point, so I'd be more than happy to join. Ooh, socio-political commentary.
Hey.
Wait, was that Joseph? Need to see that again.
Hey.
And that's Melos without his hat. You've got to have a cool hat, Melos. Stick with the hat. Melos is the lead designer at NetEase for Eve Echoes. This is the guy who really sort of sits over everything and has the grand plan of where it's all going. He's also a really nice guy to talk to and an excellent meme with the Melos soon. Now the artwork that you see here, the one actually at the back of that, appears to be the Jung gateway artwork that they used in the sort of information ramp up before the game launched. They sort of teased some information about the Jung on Twitter, etc., and they had us guessing a whole load of stuff. I'll see if I can pop a link in the description up above actually to that particular video, because there was a lot of really interesting stuff happened there, and I do kind of miss having those little treasure hunts and puzzles on social media that kind of gave us little hints and tips of what might be coming in future. This insinuates Jung, and we'll talk more about the Jung later in this video.
An epic war is underway for dominance, with trillions of ISK assets already destroyed. Neither side seems to be giving ground. Each successive battle seems to be bringing in larger...
I really like the little references to the war here, obviously, especially since Void is one of the two sides of this war. That's really cool that the developers are kind of paying attention to this and saying that, look, we see what's going on with you guys, keep having fun. Why, thank you, we will.
Ships and even larger losses. Without any clear witnesses...
Are you ready for exploration?
Yes, yes I am.
In YC-116, a supernova explosion occurred, and with it, another new Eden was born. Eve Echoes.
Literally the backstory of why Eve Echoes exists as a game.
A new kind of signal was discovered. It exists everywhere. Around ships, wormholes, and celestial objects. The neutrino resonance wave, as it's now known as.
This is that lore that we were looking at in that document when I talked about sort of an updated reveal about what was coming in scanning. Now, the really interesting thing about this is they're talking about neutrino waves and all this kind of thing, and we do actually know from real-life science that supernovas can cause like graviton wave dispersals and interruptions and all kinds of disturbances and things like that, which does affect space-time, because Einstein talks about how gravity basically causes ripples in space-time. So this is genuinely based on real science about why there could be an alternative universe, and that's awesome. It's great to see that the lore team is back at it here in Echoes.
Is mankind ready to listen to this echo from the distant past? Listen carefully and separate the truth from fiction. Understand that its real meaning is hidden deep within the noise. The source of the echo, nihilist space, calls.
I'd actually recommend pausing that, jumping back a bit, and reading the bottom left of the screen as you see that, because that is literally the process that we talk about you're going to go through in scanning when this is released. You see that they talk about like removing noise. You remove 2 successful bits of noise to find the actual signal. That signal then is synchronized into an actual location that your scanner essentially pinpoints down those coordinates and you jump to it. But now we're talking about nihilist space, and
It's a wondrous place in this grand universe. It may both be the promised land and also your worst nightmare.
Is it wormholes or is it something else? I genuinely don't care anymore. That just looks amazing and I want to get into this. Look at that! Look at how amazing that is!
A new adventure is about to begin with even more powerful spaceships.
Even more powerful spaceships? Is that just a reference to the fact that dreadnoughts are around the corner? Or is this actually hinting that we're going to be getting the Sisters of Eve in here? Or is it even hinting that we might be getting stuff that we don't even know about? I'm hoping again for things like, you know, I don't know, the Rift or Assault, but I would love this to also be the time when the Jung actually jump in and we get the proper decomposers, we get the actual Kan Yu and the actual Shan Yue, and however the heck you pronounce it. Someone always corrects me, so I'm just going with the first one in my head. But this could actually be the Jung, because we know that they are big on their exploration. They're big on why this universe is different, and they've come out of the woodwork this time in order to actually, you know, sort of get involved in this. Could this be the Jung at long last?
We shall descend upon it.
Oh man, that's Yan Jung. That has to be Yan Jung. If you watch the original teaser footage that we had for Eve Echoes, there was a point where the Yan Jung just suddenly appeared with this massive dreadnought-sized thing decloaking, and a load of the Kanye battleships, battle cruisers, etc., just warping in and appearing next to it. And the woman at the helm of this ship just stands there and says, "We are Yan Jung." And that is, I'm pretty sure that's the same voice. That it's, oh, please be Yan Jung ships. Please be Yan Jung ships.
In Eve Echo's major new exploration update, players will finally get a long-requested scanning system, along with new PvE and PvP content when they enter the new anomaly called Nihilist Space. The exploration update will come to Eve Echoes on iOS and Android in June. Keep scanning for more news coming soon.
Okay, I'll be kind of honest, I'm a little bit sad that that's it. Now, this particular part of the video I am actually recording long after having watched this, and I did scrub all the way back, and I've watched through the entirety of this update. Because, spoiler alert, I don't just play Eve Echoes, and I do actually quite like a few of NetEase's other games. Infinite Lagrange interests me, and there's a lot of information in this if that's a game that interests you as well. Identity V was one I really enjoyed when it first came out, and I played quite a bit of it. Unfortunately, the lag for me was just utterly atrocious, and so I stuck with Dead by Daylight, which is basically the same thing, 4v1 horror-themed PvP game. But this is literally all we get for Eve Echoes in this, sort of like a 2 to 3 minute section. That said, there's a lot of information that we see in here, and I'm really excited about this. But it's not all I wanted to talk about in today's video, because when I went through this, a bit triggered in my head, and I went back and had a look at some stuff, and then whilst I was talking about this, Voxel and a couple of other guys in the Content Creators channel on the official Discord dropped some really interesting images that I want to talk about and feel kind of fit this really, really well. This is the first of these images, and this is actually a flyer for the event that we've just watched. You can see the 520 in the top of the Chinese characters there, third line down, which talks about, are you going to be coming along to this? Now, ultimately, if I take this image and I run it through Google Lens and translate it that way, which is never an accurate way of doing things, let's be completely honest, this bit at the top here basically says the Yan Jung are coming, or rather the Yin Yang, I think is how it's actually pronounced in Cantonese. But as we then look down, we see a ship that at first I thought was the Mochizuki class Yan Jung ship. Now, the Mochizuki is the one that we saw decloak in the early video. Again, I will try and put a link on screen to a video where I talked about all this kind of stuff in the past and showcased that particular ship. Now, I thought this was the Mochizuki, and we were never sure if the Mochizuki was going to be a battleship or what it would be, because obviously most of the factions have a frigate, a cruiser, and a battleship. Those are the three that it has, whereas for the Yan Jung, they've always been destroyer and battle cruiser, so it felt weird going battle cruiser straight into battleship. Maybe, therefore, it's dreadnought, is what the kind of thinking was. Well, the second image that we've got 100% seems to confirm this. This one on the right here, what that says down there is the Mochizuki Dreadnought. This is the ship that we were talking about. This absolute beast is capable of decloaking and just seems to be an insanely large and powerful ship. So, what is this one on the left here? Because it's clearly Yan Jung still. It's still got that kind of pagoda look to the background and sort of the half-finished look down the front here. This is a Force Auxiliary. I cannot pronounce the name properly, but it is a Force Auxiliary here. I will write the name, how it appears when you translate it from Cantonese into English on screen, and hopefully someone can then tell you in the description below how you would actually pronounce that in Chinese. Those are two very cool looking ships, and some of you may know I'm actually a big fan of the Yan Jung ships. I really like the Shan-Yue Destroyer. The prototype was a little bit underwhelming, but the actual Shan-Yue itself is an incredibly potent destroyer. Since destroyers all got uniform buffs, I need to jump back onto Fulmination and actually see how the genuine article actually flies, not the prototype, the actual thing. And same with the Kanye, a very, very good battle cruiser. I know a lot of people don't like the prototype. It's a really interesting battle cruiser. Once you're skilled into battle cruiser skills, it's surprisingly powerful. And considering it's basically free, there's a lot you can do with it. And I do actually know a guy in Catskull who used to fly the Kanye battlecruiser prototype almost entirely exclusively, and he racked up, I think, about 140, 150 kill marks on it. It was absolute beast, and seemed to just catch everyone off guard. But there, yeah, the Mochizuki is one of those I've been really excited to see in a long time. This new Force Auxiliary, which is kind of like the capital-sized logistics vessel as well, is a pretty cool thing to see. And seeing it on this artwork as well, talking about this big reveal, insinuates to me that this may be when we actually start seeing the Jung appear in the game. Exploration comes along with Nihilist Space, and suddenly the Jung are a thing again. Now, I was talking recently with Geekaforta, who is another very great content creator for Eve Echoes. Absolutely adore his content, and again, big shout out. If you haven't checked out Geekaforta's channel, please check the link in the description and go across and show him some love now. It is an amazing channel. He is a great content creator. I absolutely adore his content. He has some amazing points. But he was talking to me recently, and he said, I've been talking to Exile, and it looks like the lore team are coming back online now after sort of a holiday period where they were away from the game. So this looks like we're going to start getting more lore, more background, more story, etc., expanding into Eve Echoes. If I wasn't already ridiculously excited about exploration as it is, all this new information may genuinely have me vibrating to the point of explosion. I'm not even kidding, this is mad for me. Exploration is the one thing I've been looking forward to the most since the game was announced. The fact that the artwork that they're using for this update seems to have the Stratios on it suggests that the Sisters of Eve are going to be coming with it as well. So my most excited faction cruiser, the one I'm looking forward to, faction frigate, the one I'm looking forward to the most, the Astero, could also be coming in this patch, and the Jung as well. Like, literally, you've taken 3 of the things I am most excited about in this game and rolled them possibly into one update. Now, do I know it's going to be the Sisters of Eve and the Jung? No, I don't. It might be one, it might be both, it might be neither. I could be wrong about this. But either way, I am super hype and super, super excited about this. But that's me. That's my thoughts, my opinions, that's me looking at this and saying what I think is going on here. Please, if you have your own thoughts and opinions, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to know what you guys think of this this little update, of this information here about the Jung. What do you think about this? What do you think of that little 2-minute video we saw? And if you want to see it completely unhindered without my interruptions, I'm going to hit play on that at the end of the video now. So if you want to see that, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.
Now, back to outer space. Sci-fi sandbox MMO Eve Echoes has been delighting galactic voyagers since it came to iOS and Android last year, with updates that have delivered an improved experience too. In June, a major new update is coming. Let's link up with the studio and explore together.
Hey.
An epic war is underway for dominance. With trillions of Isk assets already destroyed, neither side seems to be giving ground. Each successive battle seems to be bringing in larger ships and even larger losses. Without any clear witnesses.
Are you ready for exploration? In YC-116, a supernova explosion occurred, and with it, another new Eden was born, Eve Echoes. A new kind of signal was discovered. It exists everywhere, around ships, wormholes, and celestial objects. The neutrino resonance wave, as it's now known as. Is mankind ready to listen to this echo from the distant past? Listen carefully and separate the truth from fiction. Understand that its real meaning is hidden deep within the noise. The source of the echo, Nihilist Space, calls. It's a wondrous place in this grand universe. It may both be the promised land and also your worst nightmare.
A new adventure is about to begin with even more powerful spaceships. We shall descend upon it.
In Eve Echo's major new exploration update, players will finally get a long-requested scanning system, along with new PvE and PvP content when they enter the new anomaly called Nihilist Space. The exploration update will come to Eve Echoes on iOS and Android in June. Keep scanning for more news coming soon.
Next up, let's see what's new with Identity 5, the 4 vs 1 survival horror hit from NetEase.